Hey, party crashers. How are you? I am so delighted to be here with you this evening. Greetings and happy day. It's Dr. Cherry, the CEO Whisperer, and I had some things that were whispered into my ear that I wanted to talk to you about live today. Because when things happen in the real world and I'm able to talk about them, I want to make sure that I do that. So I went through an amazing process and got to a situation where I received an offer from a company. So I was not looking for a position. A recruiter found me, and how exciting. And the position was amazing. And this whole thing, it was a whirlwind. I mean, literally, I had 6 different interviews, jumped through all the hoops, did everything that they wanted me to do, did it well, enjoyed it, loved them, loved the process. And then when it got to the point that they sent me an offer, this is when the thing went south. And if anybody knows, I'm from the South, ATL, A Town Down. And so I want to make sure that I talk to us about this because nobody sent us an invite. And so we decided to crash the party. And many times, we're always trying to get into the party. We're on the outside looking in, trying to figure out who's dancing. How are they dancing? Am I going to dance the right way? Am I doing the right thing? And it's so important to me that I talk because for 25 years, I've worked with executives, I work with entrepreneurs, and I have literally worked with everyone who wanted to work with me. So I say the 3 E's. That's what I do. And so I provide information. And so when you're thinking about a position, the first thing I want you to understand is that the offer is the start, not the finish. So when you go through all of those interviews, that's really for them. And it's also for you to kind of see if you're mutually interested. But, of course, the ball is totally in their court at that time. And so you think about the interviews as an audition. And but when that offer comes to you, that is when the real conversation begins. And the point that I want to make sure that I make to you is I don't want you to be so excited over an offer that your voice gets silenced because your voice is so important. You have the right to negotiate, you have the right to push back, and you have the right to ask questions. So think about you moving from an applicant to an asset. And I want to make sure that you're thinking about that because I don't want that to ever become a problem, for you. What's up, Regina? Regina is in the house. Um, further south. You're in Florida. Um, the second thing I want to say is that fear is a bad business partner. And so sometimes we have so much fear, and that fear will cloud your decisions. And so you start to become terrified to ask questions. And when I got my offer letter with all of the years of experience of being an entrepreneur and years of partnering with different people and companies, I was so excited to get this thing that y'all, I was just about to sign it. And then my little voice in my little head said, "Are you kidding me? Like, lady, how many degrees and how many certificates do you have? You know better. So you better get Dorna Taylor on the line because that is my attorney. That is my personal attorney. So shout out to Soror Dorna Jenkins Taylor. She's my lawyer. And so I went to my lawyer because I wanted to have her just review before I did the digital signing. And what I want you to know is that that is the right thing to do. You don't know everything. And when you get excited that someone has sent you an offer that you weren't necessarily looking for, and you get this perfect company and these perfect people, then you are just using emotion. And that emotion, that, euphoria, that serotonin and that dopamine, all that stuff that's happening in your brain, you start to get really, really excited about that. And what I want you to know is that asking for clarity is your protection. And if they pull an offer from you, they didn't want a professional. They wanted an order taker. And that's important that you understand that. So if you start to think that, oh my God, if I ask these questions, I'm not going to have this job. Well, you're probably not going to have the job anyway, because at some point you're going to ask a question that's going to offend someone and it's probably not going to work out. So just go ahead, do your due diligence, ask your questions, and be willing to do it. The other thing that I've always taught people, particularly women, and there's a great book. It's a pink and black book. It's called Women in Leadership. There are a lot of studies out there that show that women make less than men. So we already know that, the Lilly Ledbetter study and all that kind of stuff. But the surprising finding in it is that many times they don't even ask for more. They get so excited about the offer that they never even think to ask for more. And it is okay in that moment when you get the offer to ask, is this your best available offer? Are there other opportunities? What else can I do? What does this look like? Ask your questions, because you're going to be with them. Think of this as a marriage. Like, would you want to marry someone who doesn't want to, have a conversation about, do you want to have kids? Where do you want to live? That's really not fair. So make sure that you're willing to ask your questions. And if it kills the deal, then think about the deal was a ghost to begin with. It wasn't your deal. All right. The next thing I want to tell you, the third thing that's extremely important, is what is for you has your name on it. And sometimes we get extremely excited because, these things come our way and they look so pretty. And we're like, oh, wait, look at that. It has my name on it. And so we run to it. And I want you to anchor yourself in spirituality and understand that you can never lose what is yours. Like, your gift will make room for you. And so walking away isn't losing. And if you're in a room, you're going to be in the right room at the right time for you. So you don't have to shrink, and you don't have to hide your boundaries just to keep a seat. It is extremely important that we understand that the seat wasn't built for you if you don't feel, comfortable, or if they're pushing you to make an immediate decision. And so in my situation, just think about having 6 different interviews over a long period of time, and you just doing whatever whatever they want you to do. But then when it comes time for the decision, they want it instantly. They're pushing you, pushing you, pushing you. And then they offer pushback because you're asking questions. And all while you're asking questions, you're trying to move heaven and earth to be there with them to serve, because you're so excited about the opportunity. And I want you to think about you. I want you to think about the situation, and I want you to make sure that you think about your boundaries. Think about what's important. Think about things may not actually be built for you. And you've heard, sometimes the grass looks greener on the other side. And it's just because they're watering their grass that day. It doesn't mean their grass is fundamentally better than yours. It just means that their grass is watered, and they can actually really be good people, and they could be a place where you could have thrived and survived. But if you aren't able to answer questions, and if you don't remember to bring in someone who is logical when at a moment that you are so emotional that you are like ready to give the whole house for someone that you want to follow and you want to believe in, you always want to figure out how to bring objectivity to the situation. So don't let their hoops make you forget your height, right? Because it is important that you understand that you are bringing something amazing to a table. And if you do have to work at this place, if they can't honor your questions or allow you 48 hours to, clean up your house or whatever it is that you have to do based on what they say, it's probably not going to be a good fit. And this is not just in a job, it's in a relationship, it's in different situations. And if people are not willing to take the time with you, pay attention. Pay attention, because a lot of times people get into different situations, particularly in corporate, where they could have seen the handwriting was on the wall before you even accepted that position. And the other thing that you need to recognize is that a delay is not a denial, and there's always going to be something better for you and something amazing for you, because you can always crash the party, right? There's always a party for you. The right party is always going to be there for you. So don't feel like you have to shrink to fit into every box. Don't think that you have to give in just because it didn't work. Don't feel like, every situation that you don't get, you're not getting, you don't know why you're not getting them. But what you do know is if it is meant for you, there is nothing living or yet unborn that will ever be able to stop that. So I want us to really get into this mindset. We don't have to keep asking for permission to be ourselves. I hear people all day. I think that half of these conversations, people keep talking about, I'm burned out. You're burned out because you're not burning from within. You're not letting the light from the inside of you, come in. You're letting your light be stifled. And that light is being stifled because you're trying to be something that God didn't intend for you to be. You can't be in every room, and you don't have to be. But what is for you has your name on it. Don't feel bad if they rescind an offer after saying, hey, you can have 24 hours. And mind you, and you could be working and doing a whole bunch of other stuff. You could be trying to juggle 50 things for them. But when they don't offer you any compassion, when people don't give you any compassion, I want you to recognize when people reveal themselves to you, that is who they are. Do not pay attention to the words that are coming out of their mouths. Pay attention to their behavior, because by their behavior, you will know who they are always. And what is good for you, Shanti Das, is always going to be good for you. God does not take things away from you. He removes situations so that you could focus on what you needed to be focusing on all along. And sometimes, and particularly for me in my situation, being an entrepreneur, as long as I've been an entrepreneur, a great opportunity will come along and I want to build and I want to help and I want to do for other people because people who know me know that's who I am. I will give and give and give all of me just because that's who I am. But when I'm trying to give all of me and I just ask a question, hey, because I was that child in the school who was the why child. And I am not apologizing for being a why child because asking the question why has always been helpful for me. There are times when God will not answer my why until he is ready. And it's important that we know that what is for you is for you. That question is going to be answered, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do anything that that seems like it is it is stressful. And in contracts are for questions. Lawyers don't go to school 3 years to spend 5 seconds on a contract. They go to school and they have this long class on contracts because that is a place for negotiations. It is a place for contemplation. Critical thinking is so powerful and so important in this world. You've got to understand that your value is important. And when people don't take the time to, to want to give you enough time to do whatever it is you need to do because they don't understand, because you're asking questions and they're pushing and pushing and pushing, and your question frustrates them. Know that that wasn't for you. It wasn't for you because what you already know, what is for you can never be taken away. It doesn't have anyone else's name on it because God called you to the planet when God called you. It wasn't Verizon, it wasn't T-Mobile, it was God. And God brought you here for a time such as this. You might look around and you might be confused as to what is happening, but you are in the right place at the right time doing the right thing. So ask your questions, gain your clarity, take your time. Okay, take your time, be who God brought you to this earth to be, and you will continue to prosper. And when the weight is removed from you, on something that you were ready to just run into and be so happy, but then, because you ask a question, it gets taken from you. You just have to get on your knees and thank God. And that's what I always want you to do. I want you to, when something leaves, if those who know me know I lost a $4 million contract, $4 million contract. And you know what I did? I got on my knees and I said, thank you, God. Why? Because I know that when this 8 million comes, it's going to be even better. And it will. That's right. A child that asks why will become adult that asks why. Oh, Lord. Now, Regina's why is something else. Now, my girl, Regina, has some whys that I can't answer. And it is something else. It's something else. And amen. And that is why she is successful, because Regina will think through some stuff and she will think and think and think and mean that. And so, Maestro, I always ask the ridiculous question, why? But I ask for understanding. Seek ye understanding. You see, you have to ask for understanding. And when you don't understand, you don't have to pretend that you understand. You can ask, you're saying this, but does it mean why? And this is the thing, your asking in that moment is going to be so very helpful for you, because when you get the position, when you get in that relationship, when you get wherever to that destination and you ask the question then, and everybody's looking at you like, why did you ask that? Then you know, hmm, playing, not asking, playing small, trying to fit in at that moment just to get something, that's not it. That's not it. So ask, ask every day. Ask for what you want, ask for what you need. If people can't give it to you, ask them to find out who can. Ask, ask. And if the answer is no, that's okay too, because no, a delay is not a denial. It's just no, not yet, and maybe not from them. So never, ever, ever be afraid of somebody telling you no or stopping long enough to ask. And that is my message. That is the message that I am carrying forward. When I think about crashing the party, this has been one of the movements, the thing that has moved me, because I'm paying attention to so many people that are sitting back waiting for people to knock on their doors. You know, when I worked for the Census Bureau, I was what was called a re-interviewer. Kim Warren Franklin and I were re-interviewers. And that means that we would go around to the census people and just make sure and ask, did you fill out this form? Is this what you said? And one day I knocked on somebody's door, I swear. And this man said, "Oh my God, you came to give me a job." And I looked at him and I said, "Oh, you took that literally. You really believe that opportunity is going to knock." I said, "No, I didn't come to give you a job. I said, I have one. But what I can do is I can offer you, here's the number to the United States Census Bureau, and they certainly can hire you because they're looking for people." But he thought that people were coming to knock on his door to give him something. For the most part, people aren't handing out your gifts. You're going to have to go and get your gifts. And as you go to get them, you can recognize that not all gifts are for you. The ones that are for you are going to be nicely packaged for you. The ones that are not, you're not going to be able to get them. You're not going to be able to reach them. You're not going to be able to touch them. Why? Because that's not yours. So that is my message for tonight. Thank you for listening. Understand that an offer is a start, not a finish. And so it's someone, if you're taking someone's hand in marriage, again, whether it's a relationship, working, a business partnership, a partnership with parents and children, I always say you got to have some type of contract. You got to talk about it. You got to talk about it. And through conversations, you get to find out what they want and what you want. And that gap, you can start to close it. But if when you ask a question and they are forcing you to give an answer and you haven't had time to think about it or process it, or you're in the middle of doing something else, that's even fair. Like if you're doing something else, you can ask for a moment. We live in this whole new generation. Someone texts you and you wonder why they didn't text me back and immediately. Some of us don't, I can't have my phone on all day because I really have ADHD. I had it before. It was the thing of the flavor of the month. I love it though, because it teaches me to teach myself how to focus, how to cut out different distractions. and do different things that will bring me calm and peace in the moment. And I think it's important to learn how to handle it. I don't see it as a handicap or a disability. I love being neurodivergent. And so because I'm dyslexic, I've always seen things differently. So when you're dyslexic, you ask questions because I might see something else. I might see it backwards. You might be saying dog and I might be thinking God. Like, what are we talking about? Are you talking about the same thing I'm talking about? And then once you know you are or you aren't, you can come together. If you're not, you can go away. And you can go away with love. Why? Because I love you. Because why? Because I am love. I was made in love, come in love. I am love in action. That will never, ever, ever change. So you got to be who you are, and you cannot be afraid to show up that way. You just got to show up. When you walk in the room, people need to know you're not trying to stop folks from being who they are. Like, it's not about taking permission from somebody else. You crashing this party, coming on in without the invitation, the audacity that it had to take, for Shanti and I before she had the VIP to still know we supposed to be in VIP anyway and get there. It's never been, listen, I was always in VIP. And I didn't know any of the people there, and Shanti can tell you them stories. But the truth is because we believed we were supposed to be there. And so when you believe that you're supposed to be somewhere, then you walk and you talk and you act as if that's the room that you should be in. And in order to get into that room, there are going to be some questions that you're going to have to ask, because you think you're going into this room, but is that your room? The room you fighting so hard to get in, is that room made for you? The only way you're going to know is to ask. And if the people don't have time to answer your questions, say, I'm going to see you on the other side, because I'm headed to the next room, because that VIP room has my name on the door. My name is up there. And oh my God, true story. Oh, Lord. Shanti, Marcy, and I have all walked up when we were, oh no, my name is on that list. Look. And Tim, bless Tim's heart. Tim is in heaven. Tim was like, let him in. Let him in. Because why? Because we believed our name was on there. We had the audacity to ask, and knock and ye shall. What? The door is going to be open, y'all, when you knock. All right. So sometimes you have to knock, and people on the other side say, who is there? Right? That's a fair question. 2026, shoot, you knock on my door, I'm not just going to open it. I'm going to ask some questions. So questions matter. Be willing. And I know Virginia's like, that girl don't like no questions. But no, I understand. People have to ask them. They have to ask them. They have to. And it's, you just have to figure out how to answer them. And, sometimes you might not have the capacity to answer on that day, but you do owe it to the other person, to figure out when and how to answer it. So if you're ever in a situation when you're going through a contract negotiation and you can't answer questions, not your room, not your room, not your job, not your situation. If you're ever with a man, you can't ask him no questions, not your man, or a woman, whatever, not your woman. You are a person who was meant to be where you are. Remember, 99% of the DNA we share in common. But that 1% that you have, nobody else has. And what that means is your voice is unique, your hand print is unique, everything about you is unique. And so that means that there is no competition on this entire planet for what is yours. So what I want you all to do is to get up and go get it. I want you to crash any party that you feel like you need to crash. And if it's not your party, don't worry about it. Let them party in that place without you. Because in our party, we might be yeet. We might do whatever we need to do because it's our party. And if you're from the Southwest, all of a sudden you'll see us all doing the same dance and everybody's looking at us like, what could be wrong with them? How do they all know the same dance? Because that is the party that we were invited to. And that's the party that other people can come into. But when you come into that party, you got the right to ask where that dance come from. But you also can just go ahead and, oh, I need to send this to Mel so she know, yeek, you can do it. You can do it. So that's my message today. I love you. I believe in you, and I want you to have and live the absolute best life. I also want people who are in corporate America to understand that entrepreneurship is a whole life. It's a whole vibe. And so if it's not working for you, ask the questions. If you're an entrepreneur and things aren't working, ask yourself some questions. Do an inventory. Start to figure these things out. You do not have to. There's no reason why we don't have everything on this planet that we want and desire. Since I lost my contract, I have yet to go hungry and yet to be without clients. I had clients all day today, and we'll have clients all day tomorrow. The husband is in the house. I don't want to get emotional, but it also pays to have a very supportive spouse. Lord, have mercy. Thank God for my man. It's very important to have somebody that says, tell them people no. Tell them people no. Don't let them stress you out. But we still have to go through it. You still have to go through it. And I talked to my sister Nika today, and one of the things Nika said is this message is going to be helpful to so many. Because the first thing that I was willing to do and ready to do was share it. I was like, oh, I can't wait to let people know. You go through 6 interviews, you happy, and then you get to the negotiation table, you're wanting 2 days, not even 2 days. Like, can I have 24 hours to just, I got to talk to my attorney because my attorney is asking me questions, but I'm with clients today. I don't want to misunderstand. I need to get this thing right. But that wasn't for me. But what gave me the most peace was that I asked the question. Just think if I had done what my emotions told me to do. When I got that letter, I was so excited. I was ready. DocuSign. And something said, Dorna. It did. So y'all tell Dorna Taylor. That's what it said. I sent the thing to Dorna, and sidebar, I have to thank cousin Nicole because we were working on making sure everybody had gold. And so in my medallion thing, I normally always give Dorna the gold thing. And that's it. I mean, everything always works out. Like God will put stuff there. And what you also have to do, y'all, is intuition is so powerful. So many people ignore intuition. Like you'll start to get these messages and you don't know why all of these messages are coming in, and they are coming in because you needed those messages. And sometimes we ignore them, right? Like you're wondering, you're trying to figure out, well, why didn't this work? Well, you start to see the signs, like the whole design of the diamond will be clear. You'll be like, oh, stage 1. I saw that. And then you will be able to say to yourself, when people reveal themselves to you, that is who they are. And it's not always a bad thing. Like that party that might be going on over there is not your party, you know? The party where we are singing the good life, that's our party, you know? Or a party where people are playing Let Them Know, that's their party. Not everyone has to like that song that's playing in there. Not everyone has to want to pop the fans. That's their party. And if you want to crash a party, you just got to be intentional. Crash it, but before you start crashing the party, y'all ask the questions. Ask the difficult questions. Ask about your salary. Ask what this looks like. And if they send you a long list, y'all been watching Judge Judy forever. Know that some of these things that people ask in contracts, they might be standard, but you might have not seen it before. So just never worry about asking, because if you ask, you will know. Like, again, don't be in a relationship with somebody and don't ask them the serious questions. Like, do you want children? Do you want to live apart? Ask questions, talk to people. Work and home and the community, those are relationships. And you have the relation, but then you have the ship that gets you to the other side, and you need the ship in every part of it. So, be willing. Be willing to ask, be willing to do it, and be willing to crash that party with me. So again, I love everybody. I hope that every time that I have success, you learn from it. Every failure, you learn from it, and all of the things, because I learn more when I don't get something sometimes than when I get it. Because when I don't get it, I get to reflect, especially when you had it and then it was taken away. It's like, whoa, just got a job offer. So excited. Woo, woo, woo. Now let me read. People don't have PhDs because they don't read. And people don't have PhDs because they don't ask questions. And you don't need a PhD to do anything. Like, people that have PhDs are not smarter. They probably, I don't want to speak for all PhDs, but most of us, we just got to ask so many questions that we need to know why. And so we have continued to just spiral out on the why. That's what a PhD is. It's all the way down until you can understand the hypothesis, the results, the methods, and every single part of it. Doesn't make you a bad person, Regine, because you want to know all of this. And Regine's nephew, Malcolm, Lord, his little cute self, he's a mini Regine. They ask the questions of the questions of the questions. And questions don't make you a bad person. What makes you a bad person is not trusting yourself. That's a bad person. Because you have to be with yourself 24/7, 365. You got to trust yourself. Ask the questions. And that's it. I want you to be successful. Crash any party that you want to crash. You don't have to, they don't have to send you an invite. They don't even have to lie to you and say that it got lost in the mail. The party is for you. If it is really for you, you're going to know it, because your name is going to magically appear on that guest list. Just like every time, as I said, Shanti, Marcy, and I went to a party, it would have magically appear, whether it was Tim or what is my brother's name? Laura, he'll kill me for forgetting his name. But with New Edition, when we used to go with New Edition, Jesus Christ, Eminem is all I can think right now. But whenever you understand, there are going to be gatekeepers in life, but the gatekeepers are not there to stop you from getting through the gates. The only thing that can stop you is you. That's the only thing. Everything else, doors open, and all of the doors will be open for you from this day forward. Every door is open to you, because your gift will always make room for you. Never, ever, ever forget it. Always remember it. Good night.